Happy Friday, Denver, and happy Cinco de Mayo. Grab yourself a margarita and a cold cerveza. It's going to be a fun, fantastic day, and the weekend starts right here with us at Happy Friday. You just got done listening to the Fricashinas. That's right, the Fricashinas. Go check out their new album. Thanks for the invite. You're scrolling across the screen right now. You're seeing them. Get in touch with them. Fantastic. Mile High Life is the place where you're going to get all the premier podcasts, including this podcast. Just great stuff over there, guys. We got Vic Lombardi. We got all the great shows, including Happy Friday, of course. My name is Kevin Batstone. I'll be emceeing for you this morning. Joining me, of course, as always, my friends, John Ekstrom.
This morning, right, it is morning. Happy Friday morning to all of you. I hope this day finds you well, happy, healthy, fulfilled, and my God, do we have a packed show for you.
That's right, John. And, of course, sitting across from me, as always, the loose-lipped, flappy Arthur Raw.
I love every single one of you tuning in. Thank you so much.
Yes, that's brilliantly said, Art. And guys, it's Cinco de Mayo. This is a kind of a fun holiday. I like margaritas from time to time.
Right.
They're delicious.
Coin.
Obviously, cold cerveza. Did you say coin?
Coin margarita.
Coin margarita.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, everybody has their preference on their margaritas, Art.
Yeah, mine is basically what you do is you fill a glass with ice and you pour bourbon over it. And then just drink that instead, because I don't care for margaritas.
Yes, that's a Kentucky margarita.
You're my kind of guy, John.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I was hitting on John ferociously before the show.
Yeah, it was a lot, dude. It was intense.
It's probably going to continue. It was mainly through the eyes, though. It wasn't vocal.
Well, dude, at one point, I felt you staring at me. And so I was looking away, and I come back. I'm like, he's still right there. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lot, dude. Kev, start the show, because, my God, this is not going to end.
A lot of energy in the building tonight, guys. And John, we're going to kick it over here to one of your things that you're so great at, and that's writing. We have a writer's strike going on.
All right, so WGA has declared a writer's strike. It's the first time in 15 years where writers' pay has never been lower while studios recorded record profits, which that's fucked up. The writers aren't seeing a piece of this. And Amanda Seyfried, who you know from Mean Girls and a ton of other great shit, she was at the Met Gala and asked about it, and she had the best quote about this. I didn't expect really great quotes to come out of the Met Gala. You expect weird fashion to come out of the Met Gala.
And that happened too, though.
Oh, yeah. But she said, everything changed with streaming, and everyone should be compensated for their work. It's fucking easy. And literally, these studios don't exist without writers. There was another great quote that said, The Shield made FX. Mad Men made AMC. These shows make these networks. Fucking pay your writers, man. What else is there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it goes just like with anything. You got to compensate the people that help you, elevate and get to, just like any corporation, any business that operates. There's so many fundamental factors that go into it, and writers, I think, get overlooked. They just see the actors putting it forward, and we've seen some of the crisis this week, John, with like the late night TV.
Oh yeah, no, they're done. So 15 years ago, Conan O'Brien paid his entire 80-person staff during the entire strike and then just went out there and improvised himself. Conan's a fucking legend, which is so fucking cool. And so these guys are like, no, we support our writers. We're shutting our shows down.
Well, and, it should be an eye-opener for all the viewers out there, everybody that wants to tune in and are regular subscribers to these shows, because all of a sudden they're missing an action, and of course you think the MC, right? You think the person who is the host. But it's actually, there's this whole group of people out there behind the scenes that are this creative input for all this entertainment that we receive. And if they're not getting compensated, this is why things like this happen. So I support it.
Yeah. I do too. Just like any boycott, any strike, I mean, it sends a message, right? Yeah. You're talking about sponsorship dollars lost. You're talking about a lot of things that are going to get lost here, and eventually that's going to get people's attention. That's how things are going to change.
Right, and why the studios are digging in like this and just being such fucks, I don't understand. And so there are times like, Kev, you're an NFL fan, right? So so for me, it feels akin to me when there's a labor dispute, when people side with management. And you go, why?
Like, that's HR type of energy.
Yeah, totally. That's like narc shit, right? Where you go, you're not siding with the players who you like. You're siding with the owners who don't guarantee these guys contracts, call them family, and then cut them as soon as they get injured. Man, fuck that. No. support the creators, support the people on the ground, and side with them. That's my bias.
I agree. I think it carries a lot more weight when we do that, and that's why you have the players union and you have all these guys that unite and go on strike and make a stand.
Yeah.
You know, to really say, hey, we're not going to put up with this nonsense. You know, your TV show doesn't mean anything to us if we're not going to compensate for the work that we're putting in to make this show even happen.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And so in this case, however long this goes on, maybe I'll actually catch up on shows now because I'm way behind. Like, I don't watch fucking anything. So maybe, like, with nothing being made, maybe I'll finally catch up, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it might be a good time to catch up on some things. And speaking of catching up on things, Vince Vaughn is catching up on Dodgeball 2, guys.
They're probably not writing it right now.
Yeah, they're probably not writing it. He's probably having some time to just hang out while this is in early development. The only thing we know about this movie so far is that it's probably going to happen. It might not now, who knows? But the talks are, we don't necessarily know what the cast is going to look like yet, John.
Right.
But Vince Vaughn is going to be involved with it, which is pretty cool because the original Dodgeball was
so much fun.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Well, it came out of Ben Stiller's head. And what's funny is, so on the most recent episode of Vic Lombardi's Denver, he had Lance Armstrong. And Lance Armstrong had one of the greatest movie cameos in the history of film in that movie. He's like, you know, when I was diagnosed with brain, lung, and testicular cancer all at the same time, I thought about quitting. But, you know, with the support of my friends and family, I went on and won the Tour de France 5 times in a row. So what's killing you, Peter? Like, that whole thing. And he's like, he said to Ben Stiller, who he's friends with, if you ever want to do another one, like, I'm on board. And Ben had no interest in it. So it's weird that Vince Vaughn is actually interested in, or picking up the torch here.
Yeah, 20 years later.
It's like one of those things, right? It's just like Disney remaking all these hand-drawn movies.
Into live action shit?
Yeah, into live action.
Weird.
Look, I mean, we've been dealing with this whole phenomenon for at least a decade of people not knowing how to create new stories and write something new, so they're remaking all this old shit. And so it's the same stuff. They're like, well, what was really good back in the day? What really hit? And so everyone is just grabbing on to the things that they knew used to work, and they're hoping that it has the same success that it had before. And it's questionable to me. Where's the original stuff at?
Well, I'll tell you this. So you can do it right? Like Top Gun Maverick. Amazing way of bringing back this beloved property in a way that's super satisfying and fun and builds on it and makes the story.
Practical effects.
Yeah, and Cobra Kai was a really fun way of expanding that universe. Some of this shit sucks. I agree with you, Art. But some of it, like, can be done well. So I guess my only hope is if this thing flies, like, just make it good.
Well, and I think what they're trying to do, too, with some of these remakes and stuff, is they're trying to recapture, especially when it comes to, like, the Disney movies and stuff, they're trying to recapture now the young generation now. A movie like Dodgeball 2, I mean, sure, it's 20 years old, so maybe, you know, a lot of younger folks haven't even seen the original, so I don't know what that would look like. But one of the funny things about Dodgeball was that, you remember the ESPN The Ocho?
Oh, yeah. That exists.
Which exists now. I mean, I was sitting at a bar one time waiting for my turn to play in pool, and I'm literally watching this ESPN Ocho, and they had, like, cliff diving on.
Oh, yeah.
And just all these outlandish sports.
Like, my favorite one was dodge juggling. So it was it combined dodgeball and juggling, where, like, it's dodgeball, but you have to protect your juggler. And so if the juggler drops his clubs, that's when the fucking point happens. That sport was remarkable.
There's some crazy shit
was
on there.
The boxing chess on that channel by chance?
I didn't see any boxing chess, but I've heard of that too.
That would be on ESPN Ocho.
That's a total sport, like where they box it out and then do a move on chess. I mean,
hey, let's see how you play chess with a head injury.
Yeah, to compete on that level, they're like, all right, we're gonna get physical and mental on this.
I feel like Stump would be another good one to add in there because I remember seeing like cornbag, like professional cornbag.
Yeah, dude, cornhole's on like every Sunday. Like,
yeah, that's even moved past ESPN.
Did you call it cornbag?
Isn't it a cornbag that you throw?
No, it's cornhole, man.
Oh yeah,
like it's the.
I mean, I knew what you were talking about.
So it's either cornhole or bags.
Oh, you see, that's where I fucked
Why
up.
Why not cornbag?
Well, because you know what? Let's call it cornbag then. I don't fucking care.
Is the bag full of corn?
I think it probably at one point it was.
I feel like
I imagine
full
it's
of
synthetic
fucking dust because when you hold those things, your hands get all fucking chalky.
Well, no, that's because it's sliding on the fucking thing that has all the dust and dirt on it.
All the debris.
So you pick it up. All the detritus.
Yeah.
Detritus.
The debris.
Yeah, the debris. Did you call it debris?
Debris.
God damn it! No, we're not doing that again. Okay, I'm going to the next segment. No, I'm kidding. What?
Every single week you do this, John.
I know, I'm a fucker like that.
You just want to be the MC every single week.
I'm the MC, not you. So what I'm going to
why are you pointing at me? You're supposed to be pointing at John.
Well, because you're trying to take my lead. So
why? Because fuck you, Art.
So We talked about writing. We've talked about movies. A lot of AI has been written. John, the Godfather of AI is leaving Google. What's going on?
Okay, so a guy named Dr. Jeffrey Hinton wrote, there was an article about him in the New York Times, and we will link to it in the show notes. It was a gifted article. I get a newsletter called Next Draft. And it's by this guy, Dave Pell, who calls himself the editor of the internet. And so it is phenomenal.
That is so pretentious.
Yes, but he is so fucking good at it, I'm going to allow it.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Literally, he is so good at it.
If he has your kudos or whatever,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna throw some kudos on top.
The John Ekstrom stamp of approval. Mark it down.
Ooh, baby.
Okay,
Ooh.
so from the article, quote, but gnawing at many industry insiders is a fear that they are releasing something dangerous into the wild. Generative AI can already be a tool for misinformation. Soon it could be a risk to jobs. Somewhere down the line, tech's biggest warriors say it could be a risk to humanity. It's hard to see how you can prevent the bad actors from using it for bad things. And so he said that. And we've already seen this in the 2020 or 2016 election. Russia used a ton of bots to influence our election. And so whether or not you agree with the outcome or not, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the way Russia utilized their own social media platforms against us using AI and bots and machine learning. Now, who's to say that they can't use that to launch fucking nuclear weapons or take out their enemies? I mean, this is Skynet shit that we
That's exactly
worry
what I
about.
was going to say. Cyberdyne systems, Skynet. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're headed. You know, you talk about Neuralink and some of these things
Yeah.
that are going on. I mean, I was having a conversation with someone earlier this week that they were, turning in a paper for a report, and they were actually fact-checking it, in a sense, and reviewing it to make sure that it wasn't AI generated. Like, it's to the point now where you submit work that folks are being like, what, is this your work or is this AI work?
Right.
And that's scary.
And that's uncanny, honestly, if we're talking about it. And just like last week, I mentioned that this would be an ongoing conversation here at Happy Friday Denver.
You did tee that up nicely.
And it's the truth, though, because this is it's rapidly developing. They cannot get in front of the policies that need to be in place for how fast it's moving forward. And it's interesting because we've known AI forever. I mean, it almost seems like forever because, playing video games and stuff and versing the computers and all that, like that's all AI. And so it's been a part of our lives for over 20 years, easy. And to
Well, Art, let me ask you this.
here.
Have you
Okay.
ever played a video game and at a certain point the computer gets really, really good at it? I always refer to that as evil cheating computer. Like, have you ever experienced that? And what a fucking pain in the ass
Have
that is.
you ever played Halo 2 on Legendary?
I have not.
Because, God, get fucked, and it's going to be difficult and no lube. But the whole point that I'm trying to make on this is that this is a type of philosophy that we've understood for a long time now, like even Terminator. Like, all these things have been created, and we understand AI and what it can do, but we don't know what it is actually capable of accomplishing. And so it's extremely interesting thinking about all this and the impact that AI will have 10 years from now. Like, just like we talked about last week, are people going to get dumber because AI is more capable? And that is a concern. And so, like, I'm still on the fence if I want to get behind the AI movement or not. Like,
I don't think we have a choice.
yeah, and there's no choice to it.
No, there is a choice. You can get behind it or you can fucking fight it, okay?
How do you fight
You
the
can't,
AI movement?
but like I feel like I want to be on the right side of history here. So it's one thing if people want to pay money to update their profile pictures to be created by some stupid shitty robot.
So, John, you're a writer, right?
Oh yeah,
Are you using Chat GPT to create any of that?
absolutely not.
Well, keep that up because
never.
all the writers out there, if you are cheating with that shit,
So,
then
Art,
come on. I
you,
mean,
you know why people hire me? It's because I deliver high quality product on time and on budget, and I cut it with a high level of fucking weirdness.
yeah, and that's the extreme effect.
Yes. The extreme effect. We're going to. I cut it wrong. You flustered me there again. But so fucking. The thing about that is, it's like I don't worry about myself because I know that people hire me because I'm fucking bizarre and I have a sensibility that you cannot replicate.
Bizarre Alcatraz.
But I'm worried that at some point, the people who pay for that kind of thing, if there's enough AI bullshit flooding the market, aren't going to be able to tell the difference.
Well, okay, look, I mean, it's coming out right now. People are submitting their college essays on Chat GPT and getting passing grades. So it's already.
Yeah, but that's easy enough for professors to fact check.
No, but
though.
it's point.
That's what I was talking about.
But even then, like, it's it's really just kind of starting. Like, this is not even 12 months of this that we've been dealing with.
Oh, dude, technology moves way too fast now.
We haven't even been dealing with this level of AI for a year, and look at the impact that it's already had. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. It's in still early development, if you will. But now that we're seeing it get involved with like college essays and writing scripts and even mission statements and company, disclosures and things like that, it's concerning. It is.
Yeah.
The trajectory on it doesn't look good as far as the AI involvement. And to your point, in the writer's world,
right.
it is going to get to that point where it's like, well, what's this value versus what AI can give me? I can just pay this or pay that. So I think that's the concern of where it could be headed.
Well, and it reminds me of something George Carlin said. Think of the most average person you've ever met. Like, literally, the most average intelligence.
The most okayest.
Yeah. The most okayest person you've ever met. Half the fucking country is dumber than that.
Yes.
Right? And so that sucks.
God
like, that's
bless
terrifying. So,
God bless
anyway, Kev.
Yeah. So we'll keep it moving here. AI is scary. We're going to change gears here to Gordon Lightfoot.
To a real artist, right?
Yeah, to a real artist. Gordon Lightfoot. He died at 84, guys. I was actually just listening to some of his music earlier today. Definitely had a big staple in music, I would say. Canadian guy, kind of did a little bit of folk, a little bit of that classic stuff. Been around a long, long time. Had many, many hits. I'm sure you guys are familiar. I think Sundown's probably my personal favorite. Definitely enjoy that. I don't know how much you guys know about Gordon Lightfoot or if you listen to his music.
Not one of my guys, but definitely recognizable as an icon. Someone who created great music that was just not for me. So I certainly missed. But, I can't say I had any real personal connection to Gordon Lightfoot, except for one joke in a movie that I will get to here in a second that prompts me to a question. But, Art, anything with Gordon Lightfoot?
I really like his name. I do. And I'm happy that he got to live
I like his name.
I'm happy he got to live to 84. I mean, here's the thing. In life, it is fleeting. Time is of the essence, and it's present right now as we are recording this podcast, as you are tuning into this podcast. To be able to have an impact after one's death is something that most people strive for. We all want a legacy of some sorts, children, a business, whatever it may be. With that in mind, I want to pay respects to Gordon and his family, and I'm sure they're listening. He's going to continue to affect and motivate people, even in death. And I could only hope that I do the same.
Absolutely.
And that's my thoughts on that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so there's a line in one of my favorite movies is High Fidelity. So, guys work in a record store, and John Cusack's girlfriend's dad dies. And it's like, let's do a tribute list. Top 5 songs about death. But it's like, what would you want played at your own memorial or your own funeral, right? You're dead. People are playing a song to help them remember you. What are those songs you want them to play? And the reason this ties into Gordon Lightfoot is one of the characters says, Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. And Jack Black goes, God, you bastard. That answer's so good. It should have been mine. So
That's a good song.
For you guys, what songs do you want played at your own memorial service?
I mean, I think first thing that comes to mind would be Metallica, Fade to Black.
Oh,
It's kind of a darker song.
a cool song,
But
though.
I love the like it's kind of mellow. It's
What album's that on?
That's off Ride the Lightning.
Oh, tight, yeah.
Yeah, which is obviously an iconic Metallica record.
Yeah, that album kicks ass.
Outside of that, I'd probably go maybe like because that's like kind of a darker song, and then maybe I'd follow it up with like Country and Cold Cans by Dierks Bentley because that's me. Cold beer, country music, hang out, have fun.
Right.
I want people having a good time at my service.
There you go. What about you, Art?
I would like Tupac Shakur's "Only God Can Judge Me Now"
Okay.
off the "All Eyes on Me" album, and Bob Marley song or two.
Okay, that's nice. Mine would be my favorite song of all time is "Audience of One" by Rise Against. That song is fucking amazing. I also please don't play any maudlin ballads at my funeral. Like, don't play any hymns. No Leonard Cohen, Hallelujah, none of that bullshit, right? Play fucking X Gon' Give It To You by DMX.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, literally, just... and I like picturing the old people in that sort of, like, audience being like, what the fuck are we listening to?
Well, look, and I forget the title of this song. We looked it up last night. It's from the band who brings in Happy Friday. That's the Fricashinas.
Oh, tight.
And it's you know which one I'm talking about. We have to overcome.
Oh yeah. Do you want to watch me die again?
Yeah.
Oh,
do
yeah,
you
that's a
want to
good
watch
song.
me die again? I actually could have.
That's actually a good idea.
That's a cool one.
I could have that song play at my funeral. I fucking love that song.
Yeah.
Let's make it interesting.
The Fricassions are badass.
It's so good,
dude.
It's so good.
I really I like your band better. I like Enshin Karate too. And then, God damn, Are We Not Doing Phrasing Anymore, which is a great Archer reference, but that song fucking rules too. Yeah, just have the Fricassions play my fucking funeral. Like, that would be, like, why not, right?
Yeah, if anyone hasn't listened to them yet, you need to.
That'd be okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd be all right with that as well. And yeah, so Gordon Lightfoot, R.I.P., legend for sure. You made it to 84. I'll tell you what made it to 130. That's Denver's oldest restaurant, Art.
Hey, we like to talk about this place. It's a staple, and congratulations and success to Buckhorn Exchange, making it to 100.
have we brought them up before?
Never heard of it.
Maybe once or thrice.
Yeah.
Thrice.
And it's a fantastic place. I love the vibe there. Obviously, we've gotten into this a lot, just like the AI conversation,
Yeah.
but I need to take another visit down there. It needs to be around fall. So my question is to you. What is your least favorite gamey meat that you've ever ate? Like, you're like, I got to try this. It's gamey. I don't like it. What was it?
I wasn't a big fan of like goose and duck. Not that that's like real gamey, but it wasn't my favorite because like I'm into the gamey meats like the elk and the bison.
I like elk.
Deer and the bear.
Yeah, elk is good.
Dude, deer sometimes is too chewy for me.
Deer
How
can be
about
very
reindeer,
chewy.
though?
Yeah.
But that's where you got to get the backstrap. That's like the best.
Oh,
cut of
well,
meat.
dude, if we're talking backstrap, I mean, that's a cheat.
It's a little bit of a cheat.
Because
code.
my wife used to hunt when she was growing up, so she'll talk all. Oh yeah, she'll talk all day about backstrap.
BA. That is BA.
Oh god, dude, she's way cooler than I am. She should be hosting this fucking shit. But
maybe we can get her as a guest host.
so there was one time I had ostrich up in Vale.
Okay.
That was pretty good, but made me very, very gassy. I don't.
Ostrich.
And it was pretty good. Ostrich is red meat too, which you're not expecting.
I've never eaten ostrich meat, but I've had the egg.
So it's a big fucking egg, bro.
Massive.
Yeah.
That is massive. My least favorite meat, and I believe this is considered a meat,
Well, it's seafood. If what you read-
escargot.
Yeah.
Snail.
See,
Yeah.
dude, I like escargot.
Like, I didn't enjoy it. I really did.
How was it prepared?
Was it the
though?
texture?
So it was at a French restaurant in a resort in Mexico.
Okay.
So that's where I tried it. I've never tried it elsewhere. I wasn't a big fan.
Was it the taste or the texture? Like,
It was the taste.
Yeah.
I could do all the textures. Trust me, I like all.
See, I'm a
the
texture
textures.
eater though.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but I actually liked escargot. If you get it on like a little piece of like toast or like what the fuck are those things called? Like Melba toast or no, that's not right. Not biscotti. What the fuck am I going for?
I know. what you-
Cracker.
Yeah.
It's not a cracker.
It's a form of a crispy bread. Like
Yeah,
like
what the-
Melba toast I think was the closest thing I can picture to it.
Yeah, like I'll think of it like as soon as we're done here,
Yeah.
it's like whatever bruschetta comes on, right? So like I can't bruschetta.
Bruschetta.
Yeah, well, it's also pronounced bruschetta sometimes.
How about mochetta? Because we all love that money.
Well, what I can tell you about the Buckhorn Exchange is I did have the Rocky Mountain oysters there, and they were good. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone on
Chipped.
record to say many
They're
times
fine.
the
They're
beef chips are
chipped.
good. I think they're good.
I think they're fine.
Yeah.
I'm kind of meh. on
Well,
them.
you're not a fan?
I mean, look, if it wasn't for the dipping sauce, I wouldn't have dipped twice.
Well, and on that beautiful bombshell, what I'm going to tell you is this. When you're driving down I-25 leaving the Buckhorn Exchange aggressively because you have to go do shitting, you might get caught speeding by an aircraft.
You have to go do shitting?
Yeah, you might.
Do shitting.
Go do
Yeah.
defecation.
You have to go do shitting.
You got to
Yeah,
do
you do sex, you do weed, you do shitting.
you do a bowel movement.
You do shitting.
You could have one or you could do one.
Kids, you go and you do shitting.
Well, do you do it, right?
You go
don't
and
have
you
it.
do
You take a
homework.
shit.
You do, but you,
No, actually, you leave it.
Well, yeah, that's a
You don't,
Beavis and
you don't
Butthead
go
joke,
take,
bro.
You don't go take a shit.
Yeah.
You leave it.
Why do
do
they
it.
call it taking a dump? You don't really take it anywhere. They should call it leaving a dump.
You sound like is that a
That was a bad Beavis.
you sounded more like a witch
That's tough but fair.
from
I'll give you that.
from Banjo Kazooie. Actually,
From Banjo, I never played
you
that game.
sounded like that
N64,
witch.
yeah, that was a good game. But we're getting off topic here, guys. But you do have to do shitting sometimes, John. Or at least I do. I can only speak for
no,
my.
can we say do defecation instead?
No.
I don't want to do that.
Fine.
But what?
No, he wants to do shitting.
Yeah, do shitting.
Fine.
So look, you can get caught speeding by an aircraft, And this is interesting. And I think we did mention this early in the Happy Friday days about this kind of becoming into effect with the CSP. Look, these guys are going up there. They already handed out multiple citations this week.
I mean, there's fucking signs on the highway that say it's patrolled by aircraft.
But the aircraft isn't always out there. That's like saying falling rocks might
You don't
occur.
know. Like,
the
when you're
rocks aren't
driving,
falling.
who's going to be looking out of the sunroof?
Well, if you have a Cessna low enough, it has to be able to analyze rate over time. Wait, distance over time equals rate. What's the formula?
Yeah. Yes. Distance over time equals rate. Yes.
And so that's essentially how they're doing the math on this. They're measuring the lines. They have like mile markers, quarter-mile markers, and they're measuring the time that it takes for the vehicle to travel through it. That's how they're determining if it's speed or not. They're not like using radar guns.
Why not just use drones at this fucking point in time?
Well, that's probably where it's going to head, Art.
But like, why would you fuel up a jet and all this other shit to go fly over this shit when you could just hover a drone?
And that's probably where it's going to go.
I don't care. I hate this Big Brother shit. Like, literally, like, aircrafts, drones, like, oh, are you driving too fast? Man, get all the way fucked with this. No way.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it myself.
All I have to say, though, is Slava Ukraine for hitting Russia's main area with a drone.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The other night.
No, fuck Russia. All support for Ukraine.
It was just, like, they didn't do any damage to the building. They just hit the flagpole. It was, like, basically like, hey, like, we could touch you anywhere.
That's amazing.
Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't.
I didn't see it either.
So you didn't read a single article in prep for this, but you found that and didn't put it in here? What the fuck, man?
It's called World News, you know?
Put it in here!
Hey, I'm putting it in ad-lib style.
Ad-lib?
Freestyle style?
I think you meant ad-lib.
Ad-lib.
Yeah, ad-lib.
Hey, John, all I got to say is when you correct me, it definitely makes me flush.
Yeah. Good.
I think there's other things that are making you flush. What I'm going to tell you is this. Watch your speed out there, because just because you don't see, as they say in the truck driving world, a bear or a full-grown, they might be looking at you from the sky. So watch your speed out there that are enforced by these aircraft.
True enough. All right.
That's the deal. So not in the Denver Tech Center is where this is going to be looked at. This is more in the south. But, Art, you got some fun facts about the DTC area, where our old studio was.
Yeah, DTC, it's a booming place. And, look, Colorado population has grown more than 10% from 2010 to 2020. And so that's huge. That's a lot of people out here. DTC, if you haven't been out there, it's awesome. So many great restaurants. I love the DTC area. A lot of great walking paths too. But they have developed over 12 million square feet in combined office space, industrial, flex, retail space since 2011. So that's a lot of square footage out there.
Feels like a lot, yeah.
So from 2020 to 2022, office vacancy declined slightly, but it's still elevated over 15%. So this is interesting to me because I am working as my day job, part of an industry that has fully went work from home. Like, my company has dedicated to work from home. It doesn't matter what happens. Like, they're dedicated to it. You can work remote. So is work from home, though, going away? Like, is it going away? Like, are most of the companies requiring people to come back into the offices? And with that, is it healthier to go into the office, or is it healthier to separate your office and your home space, or is it good to have both? So there's a lot of questions that I have with this, because obviously development has continued. You have office space getting built, but then you have all these like places downtown where they're like, are we going to convert this office building into a rental space? So there's like a lot of questions with this, because if they're constantly developing, but then the work culture has changed to more of a remote work culture, how is all that working? I know, Kev, that you have some information on this.
Well, I don't know about information per se, but I have seen that a lot of companies like ADP and Cigna and some of these other, bigger corporations are not necessarily requiring, but they are encouraging at least now a 75 to 80% like work from the office. Not to say they can't maybe work from home on a Friday or finish out the week there, but a lot of folks are returning to the office depending on the industry you're in. Obviously, when you work for yourself or you're in different, areas of work, you might still have that availability to work from home as you did even before the pandemic. So I think it just depends on what line of work you're in. Obviously, if you're in brick and mortar, that's never gone away.
Well, Kev, you're out and about meeting with clients and shit all the time, right?
Yeah, I am.
So, like, you can't do that job necessarily from home. You could, but you'd probably be a lot less effective, right?
100%. I mean, because there is times like maybe a bad weather day or something where I don't go out. I do remote calls with my customers, and it's just like, we'll just deal with it next week.
Yeah.
Well, and
it's
John,
not as efficient.
John, what are your thoughts on this? Because you're an entrepreneur, you own your own business. That's all work from home.
Yeah.
So you haven't but you do go into an office still to do work. Like you go in to produce, you go into to like run shows and stuff like
sure.
that. So you still have that break.
Well, I'll make client calls and stuff, but would I ever want to go back to work in an office? That answer is fuck and no.
But how about
Ever.
How about like 1 day a week?
No.
No.
Fuck no. I don't do my best thinking. I don't do my best work in an office.
Really?
At all.
So you feel like you would be less productive in an office
Every
environment?
time I've ever been allowed to work from home, I get so much more shit done. And you know
Really?
why? It's because I know as soon as I get done with whatever I have to do, it means that I get to do whatever the fuck I want now. When I'm in an office and some dickhead is looking at me like, oh, well, you got to do something else now. It's like, no, fuck that, okay? Like, I am good at managing my time. I will bring you gold if you just fuck off and leave me alone. Literally, I do terrible, terrible work and terrible thinking inside an office with an organization. Let me be at home. I will bring you fucking gold.
And to speak on that, to all the office workers out there in the world, how many times, and let's be honest with ourselves, how many times were you just sitting at your desk acting like you were busy at your computer and you're literally just staring at your screen?
You're just counting the seconds till the
Let's-
day's over
let's
and
be
you
honest.
can fucking leave, right?
How many of y'all have done that? I'm guilty. I've done that before.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a fucking waste of time. And like, some people need that structure, and there are times where you need to collaborate with people. Have meetings. Go in. Do that. I'll go and have meetings with people, but then we go our separate ways and we get our fucking work done.
Yeah, that's the way I like to do it. I like to manage my own time, and that's why I don't like the 8 to 5s, the 6 to 3s, whatever. I don't do that. That's why I put myself in a position where I can manage my time a little bit, make my appointments with my clients, whatever I got to do.
Yeah.
I don't have to be there from this time to this time. I don't like that style.
No.
Right? So that doesn't give me an opportunity to have to just stretch out those minutes because I'm sure I would do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not too sure. Like, it's like there always needs to be this. Okay, so in China, and sure, United States, China, big difference. But there are all these ghost cities in China where there's these like 22-story buildings. They're all vacant, and it's like basically empty construction projects, right? So it's like construction and development is a huge part of economy. And if you think about that, like it's like, can we ever slow construction down? What happens to those workers? Where are they making their income then? So it's like construction must continue. Populations must continue to grow. So construction must continue to grow as well. So it's like this whole juxtaposition of like, is it necessary to continue to keep building, or are we just building to continue to, you know what I'm saying?
Art's
do you know where
on
I'm
the
going with
road
that?
to the slippery slope of capitalism's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Because which
fucked.
There is some weight to that argument if you think about it the wrong way. Here's another way of thinking about it, Art. How are we using our physical space to maximize human potential and human connectivity? Does it have to all be offices? Does it all have to be us going to the office to be there for a certain time of day? Or can we use our physical built space to be for different purposes? And I don't know the answer to that. I think you can have both. And like, I believe in capitalism, but it's not without its flaws.
So one interesting way to use office space is to train canine units, because canine units will get used to a certain training ground. So you have to have different environments for them to work in and practice in. And that's one way to fill up a vacant office space.
All right, well, fair enough. There's a good one.
Yeah, and that happens right here in this building, Art. That is a good point. And I'm sure that it's time for a raw rant as we're going to close out this episode on Cinco de Mayo. Art, what do you want to tell the folks?
Well, this is important. Any personal promises as of late is a question that I want to propose to everybody tuning in right now. And what I mean by that is there anything that you've been wanting to accomplish for yourself, and maybe you've been putting it off? Maybe it's the time to actually dial that in. So a couple weeks ago on Discussion Combustion, Kev and I had a solo episode, Solo Slammer, and we were talking about things that we can do differently in our lives to help better our personal experiences and help us grow as individuals. My personal promise that I made to myself is to not drink 2 days a week, right? Because obviously drinking has been an area of weakness for me, and I've mentioned that multiple times. I have been accomplishing that, and it's felt great. And one thing that I want to echo on that is it's interesting once you start setting goals, you start achieving those goals, then you start having the motivation to reach further, to dig deeper and do better. A little bit of motivation will put mediocrity to the sideline. And so I want everybody out there to consider this. Like, what is something simple that is accomplishable? Like, this is tangible. You can do this. What is something simple that you can add to your daily routine that is going to benefit you in the long run? It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe reading a book for 10 minutes. Maybe, like I said, taking a day or two off of drinking, spending more quality time with your children, going for a walk, a daily dedication. So I feel like a daily dedication is so important to self-help and self-awareness and motivation. So that's one thing that I've been doing, and it's really been making a big impact on my psyche. And Kevin, I know that you made a promise during that episode as well. Do you mind sharing a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's been going really well. So, for me, I wanted to focus a little bit more on fitness outside of what I do, for my job, which can have some physical, things that I'm lifting cases, pushing stuff around, walking a lot. That's all well and good. But the promise I made was to do additional fitness for myself, at least minimum 10 minutes per day. I've been doing, I think we're at 3 weeks now, Art. I've been doing it a lot in the morning, so I've been starting my day with it a little bit, and it's been feeling good.
What are you doing in that 10 minutes?
It depends. It depends on the day. If the weather's good, I maybe do a little jog. Maybe I go out, hit the weights, for a little bit, maybe do some calisthenics. It depends on the day. It depends on what I'm feeling.
And so to kind of echo what I was talking about, like motivation pushing mediocrity to the side, do you find yourself going beyond that 10 minutes?
Yeah, most of the time. Just because, that's just 10 minutes. I set the bar pretty low there.
Yeah.
I kind of cheated the system.
No, but that's tangible. Like
it's very tangible.
You can handle that.
Yeah, no, it's on average, I'd say 20, 25.
But you've been doubling down on that.
Yep.
And so that's what's interesting about this whole subject is like you do a little bit and then all of a sudden more comes of it. How about you, John?
So my wife and I are working out every day in May. So whether that's Orange Theory, today I played golf. On Tuesday, I walked the dog for a long time. I was dragging that dog home.
What do you consider a long time?
I walked that dog for about 50 minutes.
Okay.
So
you could get like 3 miles in.
Yeah. It was probably about 2.5 because she has to stop and smell and do all this shit. But by the end, man, her tongue was hanging out. She's like, "Bro, how fucking far?" I was like listening to this podcast and I didn't want to stop. So it's nice to have that. It's like, no, you know what? Every day this week or every day this month, we're gonna exercise. I'm going to Orange Theory on Friday and on Saturday. I don't know what I'm doing Sunday yet. It'll probably be a little yoga. Be good.
I love that.
Right on.
I love that. And so to wrap up my thought here, all the listeners out there, all the viewers out there, just give yourself 5 minutes right now. You could pause this episode, whatever, and consider something that is tangible. It's accomplishable. You can totally handle this, but implement it on your daily habitual patterns. And I really encourage everybody to do that. And I also know that from there's going to be existential growth. And from that growth, you don't know the next plateau that you're going to hit. So until you push and you hit that plateau, you never know what's next. And you would never hit that plateau if you never started. So just get started.
Great info there, Art. Motivating the people as always. So as they start their journeys here, there's some fun stuff to do this weekend, John.
That's right. Okay, the Nuggets play the Suns in the Western Conference semis tonight. They're already up 2-0. The loathsome and execrable Chris Paul was out in the last game. We'll see if he plays in Game 3. And hopefully the Nuggets close it out. I saw Jokic. He was interviewed, and it's like, hey, do you guys think he can take one here in Phoenix? And he goes, why not two?
Take it all.
And so it's like, yeah, dude, fucking take them all right? It's also Cinco de Mayo weekend. So Civic Center Park, there is, cool festival, music, food, beverage vendors, Chihuahua races. That's going to be amazing. There's a brewery in Lakewood that I love called Old 121 Brew House.
I would love some ASMR on the Chihuahua feet hitting the pavement, all of them running.
Oh, interesting. All right. I fucking hate ASMR shit.
Yeah,
Like,
Have you done it live action?
no.
Oh, at least try it.
So, Old 121 Brewhouse in Lakewood is hosting its Seis de Mayo party on Saturday. That is a brewery I helped launch. I did their entire publicity rollout when they launched. They're under new ownership, but still great folks there. Katie and Tim, we adore them. So they're partnering with the Chicano Humanities and Arts Council to celebrate Hispanic culture in Lakewood. New beer releases, food truck, flamenco guitar, and art displays. Sounds really fun.
This weekend is going to be a banger.
Yeah, it should be fun.
It's going to be a
And
banger.
I like that they're calling it Seis de Mayo, which is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's Saturday.
Yeah, rather than playing off the whole Cinco thing all weekend. It was like when they had the St. Patty's parade after
Right.
St. Patty's in the weekend. It's
Get
like, come on,
out of
guys.
town,
Come on,
Georgie.
guys. At least they changed the verbiage here to fit it. But either way, whatever you're doing today, this weekend, definitely have a fun time. Be safe out there. There's obviously going to be some drinking involved. It's a party. It's a fiesta. Get yourself some fun. Get yourself a
safe.
cerveza, a margarita, whatever you're into. Just have a good time. You know, we're going to be having some fun as well, as we always do. Thanks for kicking off your weekend with us here at Happy Friday. We love that you're tuning in every week. Be sure to download the fucking audio if you're just watching on YouTube. We certainly would appreciate that. And we are brought to you, of course, by the Mile High Life Network. That's right, Mile High Life. Get involved, guys. That's where we like to have a lot of fun. Interact with us on social media at Happy Friday Den across the board. Send us some fun things. Interact with the program. That's definitely, part of growing this. And it's about the community, guys. This is what it is. It's 5280. We're here for you. We're here to hang out. We're here to have fun. Send us an email. happyfridaydenver@gmail.com. Give us some shit. Talk about art. Talk about my horrible pronunciation of words. Give John a little bit of gripe over here. Let's have some fun, people. And as you know, we like to have fun with the Fricashin as they're about ready to play us out. Let's go.